How are y'all doing? Thank you, Andrea. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brennan Aberle, and when I was young, I wanted to be a superhero. You see, because for me, a superhero is three things, okay? It's somebody with an awesome suit, it's somebody with a strong moral conviction, and it's somebody who has the ability to do extraordinary things. Eventually, of course, I settled, I compromised. My fallback was to be lawyers with all of you fine people, so that was my second choice. And with that mild disappointment, I walked through the doors of Elon University 3 years ago, a school that has invented itself as something different, a school that inspires community, that inspires leadership, instead of the cutthroat ways of ripping out the pages of law library books for students to get ahead. That is not something that Elon has ever been about, and I'm very proud to be graduating with all of you. I want you to know, and I mean this sincerely, I walked through the doors of that school alone, but I walked out of them with every single one of you. And your stories, your friendships, the things that you have accomplished first and foremost, the things that you have all done have been phenomenal, and you have convinced me to change my opinion about compromise, about settling. So let's think about my 3 superhero rules. The first is easy. An awesome suit. I have seen all of you in suits, and I'm talking to Mark York and Chris White. You are 112 of the most fantastic looking people in suits, and maybe in 50 years we're gonna get out of debt, maybe, and we're gonna start getting those puppies tailored, and it's only gonna get better. The second rule is a strong moral conviction. Now, you've all seen this. For the friends and family who haven't seen this, this is the responses to the question, why did you choose law school? I sat down with all 111 rest of you, and I asked you that question, and I took 2 minutes of your time to stories, have you share with me what it is that brought you here. And this list is amazing. It's incredible. It's a wonderful snapshot of what the destiny of our class is. Every single answer is unique. Whether you wanted to change the world, you wanted to help people, you love to argue, the chance to do something great. Some of you witnessed or played a part in maybe a child custody battle and it affected you. Every story here is personal. Some of you just wanted to use it as a good pickup line in a bar, John Horner. But all of your answers have something in common. You all have a positive view of what a lawyer does. And all of you were willing to take a risk to do something great. And so nowhere, absolutely nowhere in the fabric of your personal stories do I see why so many lawyer jokes are funny. We know what the punchline to the joke is. What do you call 100 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. Now, let's try that punchline with something else. What do you call 100 ambulance drivers at the bottom of the ocean? That is an offensive joke, and don't ever tell it. And yet one of those jokes is funny and the other's not. But looking at this, I don't doubt the moral convictions of my peers for one moment, not 1 second. I'm proud to call you all my classmates, and you have been gracious enough to share some of your time with me, so I want to fill in the final story, the 112, that's mine, very briefly. When I was young, maybe 13 or 14, I asked my dad why he wanted to be a criminal defense attorney. And I got a good answer. It wasn't entirely satisfying for me yet. It's still one that I use. Something about defending the guilty and the innocent alike because of the need to protect everyone's civil liberties. But it wouldn't be for a few years later that I really started to develop my reasoning. And I was listening to a voicemail, one of his clients, and I don't remember the specifics of it. I don't even know if that case was won, but it was a gentleman in tears thanking him for being there for him. And that these people, the people that he represents, the people that I could have the chance to represent, these are people who may get a second chance at life. These are people who might get to watch their daughters go to prom, to throw a football with their son, to see their children grow up. And that applies to all areas of the law, not just criminal defense. I don't care if you're going into criminal or civil. If you're going to be a plaintiff's lawyer or a defense attorney, you're going to have someone, whether it's a victim or a client, and it's going to be your job to stand next to them. Lawsuits may bankrupt them. Prosecutions imprison them. They may have strained personal and family relationships, and when everything is gone, one human being is going to stand next to them at the end of it all, and it's going to be you. And that is what inspires me to do this. So that brings me to my final point, and that's what of our ability to do extraordinary things? Well, we have the ability to navigate the legal realm, and that means we're going to change lives. Because we can change lives, we're going to change the world. But the world changes every single day, and that is unremarkable. What is inspiring is how we choose to do it, because we have to do it together. As I've been convinced by watching all of you, I believe that we're all capable of being heroes. I'm looking at 112 of them right now, and make no mistake about it, the world needs you now more than ever. Because the evils that we're going to face aren't supervillains, but they're more abstract, but just as wrong. We have a Congress with a record low approval rating. We can't even agree to work together when the future of our country is at stake, and I don't care what your politics are. We live in a time where a moment of unsound judgment on Facebook or Twitter could make our mistakes public for the entire world in seconds. And friends, despite that, we're still going to make mistakes. The evils of our times are the failures of human beings to do the very things that make us human. And that is the ability to listen, to reason, to cooperate, to love, and to forgive. But I don't want you to be discouraged, because there is a flip side to all of this. In a moment, that same technology, those same things, we can use that to tell our family and our friends that we love them in seconds. We can meet people with different perspectives all over the world instantly. We have the chance to create a new culture if only we are willing to remember that we have the power to do it. And this task may seem insurmountable, but fortunately you are Phoenix. Elon University burned to the ground in 1923 and was rebuilt, and many years later the mascot changed for that reason. The phoenix is a mythical bird that is not defined by the past of it ending its life erupting into flames, but by its future of emerging from those ashes into something new. And there couldn't be a better analogy for what you're all about to do right now with the future of the legal profession. Because it doesn't matter what any attorneys who came before us did to help us earn any reputation that the legal profession might have. We write the next chapter. We are going to write it in the way that we try cases, in the way that we treat our adversaries, consult our friends, in the way we explain to our children what it is we do as lawyers. And we're going to do it in the way that we forgive each other and pick each other up when we fall. The point of all of this speech for you, is that your greatest gift is not your legal education, but it is your collective capacity to love. Changing the world doesn't have to be harder than that. Things are hard because we've collectively decided that they can be hard. But all you have to do, if you're willing to love wildly, indiscriminately, and without mitigation, all of our personal and political struggles will fall into place, I guarantee it. And so before I step down, I want you, the students, to look at the person next to you, and you don't have to say this. You can shake their hand or you can nod your head at them, but I want you to communicate to them that you're going to be there for them when they need your help. And that may be writing a brief or filing a motion or anything, maybe just to listen. Because you've all been there for me. Not a single one of you has ever turned me down when I have needed help from any of you, and I know you're going to continue to do that for each other. You are going to achieve so much by yourselves, but your collective power is immeasurable. It will right our very culture. And so, my final advice for the bar exam, I promised Jim Grant, Josh Neighbors, and Lily Appleman Green that I would say this, and that is, in the words of Coach Eric Taylor, if anybody watches Friday Night Lights, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Thank you, God bless you all, and congratulations.